There are some games I will always play once a year, every year. They have left a lasting impression on me, so I will make time for them to experience the feeling of playing it for the first time all over again. If you haven't guessed by now, Firewatch is one of those games. I joined the party in September 2016, when the hype grew and grew, and I thought to myself, well, I have to check it out, and so I did. As the prologue gave me a one-way ticket to the emotional roller coaster, which was the lives of Henry and Julia. From there, I was all in from the beginning. Henry is going through a torrid time. To alleviate the stress, he responds to a job ad, which will take him to the mountainous region of Wyoming, which is perfect for him, as it's in a remote location, plus it's stunning. I knew this was going to be on par with the likes of Gone Home or even The Last of Us, in terms of feeling the isolation and fear all accumulating into the existential dread Henry now finds himself in as he enters his new life as a Firewatch lookout. But he's not alone, as we are set up with his new boss, who is sitting further afield on the thoroughfare lookout. We are now introduced to Delilah, and oh boy is she fun. The dialogue without doubt has to be the game's piece de resistance. It's the pair's on-again and off-again relationship that drives the narrative forward. I had immediately recognized Henry's voice as Rich Sommer, fresh from finishing the 7th and final season of the critically acclaimed Mad Men. Both Rich and Sissy, who plays Delilah, deliver stellar performances. Their witty back and forth, Delilah's mood swings, mixed with Henry's slightly over-the-top sense of humor, blend these together and they make for the perfect friendship. Most games nowadays have a trend where the conversations seem robotic, with little to no emotion behind them. What makes it believable in Firewatch, however, is that it feels real. Do me a favor, close your eyes and listen to this.
So there's this creek down the hill, and you know what my favorite thing to do is?
What's that?
I love to take a bottle of whatever I have on hand, plunge it deep into the water, and let it chill in there all day. And then, on nights like tonight, when it is so disgustingly hot, I have something nice and cool to drink. I learned that from my sister in Santa Fe. She'd do that with a bottle of tequila near her house and make margaritas the size of your head. You'd like it there.
I've had one too many bad experiences with tequila. I'm a little reticent to try it again.
Well, maybe you just need a new, good experience with it.
Yeah, maybe.
It felt real, right? Like you were listening to your neighbor or a podcast, or just two people having a conversation. It's this excellent execution from both actors that makes the game stand out even more than it should. Henry can communicate with Delilah via a two-way radio. The player will be presented with choices, much like games such as Mass Effect. Fallout 4 is another great example of this. And last but not least, The Witcher 3. The player can also stay silent, which also makes things kinda interesting. It is fun to do certain runs with specific dialogue, such as a muted run, or always choosing the top options, etc. I don't know, have fun, go wild. It keeps things fresh, if you're not too busy minding your surroundings, that is. One of the things that grabbed me instantly was the unique art style. If you're like me, I'm a big sucker for a game with decent artwork. I found myself abusing the screenshot mode on my PS4 as I slowly but surely ventured down all the picturesque paths. Sometimes you just have to stand there for a minute, soak it all in, and admire the vast horizons and landscaped vistas. There are glorious sunsets, sunrises, and views to take the breath away. I took my time to explore every nook and cranny across the map on my first playthrough. I feel in most games, exploration is pretty much rewarded. You may stumble across a new box, wildlife, and experience the relaxation, which is another key selling point the game thrives on. As you enter the epic wilderness and get acquainted with your environment, the game begins quite steady, and it's a slow tempo which makes it more enjoyable at first glance, but also gives you a false sense of security at the same time. You have to deal with an incident, and when you head back to your tower, it's trashed, and your first thought is, "Motherfucker!" Now all of a sudden, the stakes are raised for Henry. Knowing that he could be attacked in his own lookout, the game continues with this ebb and flow of the player smooth sailing and then constantly allured to the mysteries of the mountain, until a blow to the head turns the game, well, on its head? You thought this game was going to be chill? Ha! Psych! All of a sudden, this beautiful game that you thought was just going to be an ordinary walking sim turns into something more. The stakes continue to rise throughout your various hikes, and poor Henry, as he took this job to get away from the stress, and it looks like life took a full 180. At this point, paranoia takes full effect, and it's this brave and bold approach to move the game's direction to new heights. It keeps you guessing, makes you more aware of your choices and the constant need to watch your back. I also love how the music also dials the anxiety levels up to 100. You have to remember, whilst you can converse with Delilah, it is just you out there. You and the open space within the Rockies. You could go missing and no one will ever know. How does that make you feel? You feel more attached to Henry, like, oh my god, something might actually happen to him at any point. And the game's pacing suddenly ramps up. This all circulates back to the game's themes of dread, isolation, and fear as they all rear their ugly heads. This all comes crashing down during the epic conclusion in the game's finale. This has divided fans and critics alike since its inception. Certain fans felt cheated or they had been fooled, while some critics stated it was lazy and frustrating, whereas others, such as myself, quite enjoyed it. Yes, we didn't get much closure between the two of them, but like the game, it was short and sweet. I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting much. I don't really see how else they could have ended it. There are multiple theories across Reddit and the internet alike. However, in the moment, I think we all bought the conspiracy at first, before the game flipped this and makes the story all the more believable, more than the government listening to two individuals and how they communicate in an isolated space, that is. It is a bittersweet sign-off for both characters, who started their summer in high hopes, but the reality is we can never outrun life's problems. It is a truly depressing game from start to finish, and I can't help to be sucked into the lore every time I play it. Once you finish Firewatch, another reason to play it is the audio tour. There are achievements and trophies locked to this as well. It is essentially a commentary mode from the devs and the actors. Not only that, but it features collectible audio tapes, almost 100 of them for you to find. It's a delve into the creative minds and another perspective on a sensational game that keeps bringing new players to its base year in, year out. I just want to wrap up by saying Firewatch is one of my favorite games of all time. Its simple yet effective use of storytelling by a terrific acting and subtle artwork is what the gaming industry should be striving towards. Everything about it is the reason I fell in love with indie games in the first place. Games such as What Remains of Edith Finch, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and Oxenfree, and many more. I always smile whilst playing it, revisiting the gorgeous mountain trails and stunning scenery. If you haven't played it, I would highly recommend that you do. And if you have, what have your experiences been like? You have a game that you play every year. What is it and why? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more. Take care. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.